Hold on, don't start yet.
You gotta regavel.
Wait. Hold on. I'm trying.
They're both on?
It is now. It's
Okay.
starting.
Check, see if we got the other one.
Okay, we've rejoined our meeting at 11:16. Okay, the next is the auto pay system for Silver Eagle. And this is a request from our accounting department. It says, I'm writing this letter for request of approval for weekly transfer for the sole purpose of the Pro Shop's beer purchases in the amount of $500. Our vendor, Silver Eagle, is changing the manner in which they receive payment. We currently present them with a check at the time of delivery, but due to COVID, they are now making it mandatory to set up an electronic payment process at the end of June. To potentially avoid any non-sufficient fund fees, we are recommending having a weekly amount of $500 transfer to cover the beer order. There may be a time when we would need to increase the amount for certain events, but that will be upon email request. What now happens is they will not deliver the beer and wine products for right now for the golf course without a check. They will not bill. We have two vendors and both of them are the same. They're eventually both going to, what this amounts to is a electronic fund transfer from us through FinTech for the Silver Eagle beverage purchases. And it's what a lot of companies are going to. The $500 transfer, let me explain that. For some reason, and I didn't set this up, but none of us did. Beer and wine revenue, and actually revenue from Dickman when we get it open, but beer and wine revenue is Los Morris. Our alcohol licenses under Los Morris. Beer and wine revenue should be going into the Los Morris account. Instead, because of technical issues, it is going into general fund. So when we pay for our beer and wine, we have to transfer money from general fund into the Los Morris account every time they order beer. So what this sets up is, because now we're paying electronically, we'll automatically transfer $500 from general fund to Los Morris account, so that when we do the electronic fund transfer for beer, the funds will be there. We're looking at a change to this. We have an unused Harbor Touch unit in the old restaurant back of the Pro Shop, of moving that into the Pro Shop, because with the Harbor Touch we can put it directly into the Los Morris account. So we're working on it, but right now, rather than having to transfer money every time we get a beer, we're just going to simply transfer the $500 into the account and to cover the electronic fund transfer to the beer supplier. And we're expecting to get the same request from our second supplier. So that's what this is all about. So this information was given to all of the directors. And do we have any discussion before we vote?
Is there a mechanism for the eventuality that we transfer the $500 and we just put it on the clock every week? It goes in there for the week that it costs $323 to get beer. Where that overage goes, does it stay there and get applied to the next week's order, or does it kick back somewhere, or is it just going to perpetually pile up?
As far as that goes, for right now, until we see how the trend will work on beer sales in this new system, they're going to transfer the $500 every month. Okay. And then every week, excuse me, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Every week, and because our beer usually runs between $3.50 and $4.80, $4.90, somewhere in there. So we may have some overage, and actually what we are planning to look for is to have this amount meet or match, or maybe exceed a little, what the actual beer revenue is that should be going in there in the first place.
See, that's my question.
So-
Did something change from the last time that I worked here? 'Cause whenever we did a deposit, you put, like, say from the pro shop or whatever, you bring the bag in, and if you do your sales, then you would have 2 deposit slips. One would go into your general, which is,
Right.
when it was like golf or whatever, and then you would have your Lost Morris deposit. So I don't understand why there's not typically money there. I mean, did we do something different?
Apparently so, because I was surprised to hear that that was happening when after I was able to look at what they were doing February and March after we got on the board. That had changed somehow over the last 2 years. And I have no idea why or who did it or whether the beer companies, something affected that, or our auditor did something. We couldn't find out a reason for that. So now we need to do this because it's at the end of June. It's going to change, and we have to change with it if we want to continue to get beer and wine for the pro shop. Okay, so we'll have to monitor what goes in there and make sure that at least until we're able to make a decision on moving the Harbor Touch into the pro shop and funding. Now, I've talked to Randy about it, and
I agree. I mean, we're going to have to do their program.
yes,
But I would like to question the money that's going to Lost Morris. I would like to question if we're doing a different thing with our deposit, because, I mean, and once we get an explanation, I think 500 being in there is
Right.
reasonable, instead of us running up here every Friday, Thursday and Friday doing that, but
Yes,
that
'cause
would
we
be a question I'd like to know. But
Well,
we're going to have to do this.
we don't have any choice right now, and we need to do the transfer once a week right now to cover, because by the end of June, we're on this new system, so we don't have time to stall. However, we need to monitor that, need the money to transfer, because right now, every time they order beer, we have to transfer money, and it's a constant process.
And maybe when they make this transfer, they just send a group email to the directors that this was done,
Yeah,
so that way.
When I get the transfers, and the excess amount in there will cover tournaments when we have to order additional beer and wine to cover the larger number of players. So can I have a motion?
So
Yes.
moved.
Go ahead.
I move to authorize the weekly transfer of $500 into the Lost Morris account to cover beer and wine purchases for the pro shop.
Second.
Okay, any more comments? Okay, any comments from the, ouch.
The only thing I would say, and I think part of what Rihanna says, if you put $500 in this week and you spend $300, leave the $200 there so that, when the time comes when all of a sudden we spent $800, we have the money already there.
Right, this would cover, and we have some tournaments coming up where we will have to order additional supplies. Okay, do we have any, 303?
Well, I just have a question.
We can't hear you,
Okay.
and your name and your unit, please. So we get to know everybody who's here.
We can hear you, the people at home can't.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm Pat Seitz, and I live in Unit 27. But I'm thinking, okay, you're going to put $500 in that account,
Mhm.
and then the money that you make on the beer is not going in that account.
That's my question.
And I don't understand that.
Neither do we.
Yeah,
So that's-
So
and
I
that's-
think you need to fix that.
We're going, our plan, I have asked the people in the office that work with it, they don't know why it was changed.
yes. My
Randy doesn't
suspicion
know
is
why it was
that
changed.
money is going into the general.
It is.
And then
Yeah.
for some reason, we have to put it back into Lost
That's
Morris. And
exactly
yes,
what's
we're going to work on rectifying
And
that.
that way you won't have to be putting $500.
Exactly.
Right.
That's right.
Self-sustaining at that.
Yes,
Yes.
because they should,
And then we would, exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
agree.
Okay.
Because in the past, the only time we had to do that, put additional money into Lost Morris was when we had a big tournament coming up. And the fund wasn't there. So this is necessary to back up the automatic payment with Silver Eagle. And in the meantime, we're going to find out why this was changed, if not why it was changed, how we can change it so that the revenue from the beer and wine goes directly into Lost Morris and not into the general to be transferred to Lost Morris. Okay. And we have a first and a seconded.
We do.
Okay, all in
That
favor?
was one, is there?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. Oh, okay. Good thing we weren't at an auction, you'd been in trouble. Okay, all those in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, and unanimous. And we will let Cindy know. Okay, we go on to, we have had a lady. Her name is Kate Burkhart. She lives on 1 Mackenzie Street in Brackettville. She is a certified, yeah, that's what it says. 1 Mackenzie Street, Brackettville,
She
Texas.
just lives right here.
Oh, she's
Just
on
lives
this
right-
Mackenzie Street. I don't know all the streets in
isn't that
Brackettville.
about where
Right
she
over here,
lives?
Oh.
it's right up the back of the hotel. And she's not able to be here, so she sent me.
Oh, okay, well, you may stand there while I do my spiel. I mean, I
Yes, go ahead.
practiced all night for this.
Why don't we get props?
Short tank.
Anyway, we do have a copy of her, water aerobics instruction certificate. And water aerobics with Kate, she would like to do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning, which is probably the quiet time around the pool, and I understand where Rihanna was coming from. And as she says, water aerobics is an all-round, low-impact exercise used in water aerobics is for both male and female and is for all ages. And seniors benefit greatly in the form of exercise. Benefits gained from the class are muscle strengthening, balance, endurance, increase energy levels, reduces edema, and that's swelling, by the way, social contact. I'm offering this class as a service to the community. The $2 fee per session is to help defray my cost of liability insurance, continuing education, and annual renewal of my certification. Please consider water aerobics lessons as a service to the community. I will work with the board and the community in any way possible. If this is approved for the June agenda, I will gladly explain the classes and answer any questions. Thank you for your consideration. We did tell her that she would have to have a copy, or she would have to have liability insurance with a hold harmless for Fort Clark Springs. And she has plans with Nationwide Insurance to provide a liability policy that adds us as an additional insured for $1 million if we approve this. So since you have come to represent her.
Well, I've been doing, I met Katie at the pool, so I've been doing this with her since last year. And definitely, it is beneficial. These weights, they're very lightweight. You can pass them around if you've never picked them up. They don't weigh anything. But when you're in the water, you're using the resistance. So it's really good for your arms. Since I had breast cancer in 2001, I really have to stretch my right arm out. It's really good for people like that. It's good for your stretching, your muscles, and resistance exercise. It's good for your core muscles.
Now, will those be supplied, or will the members need to purchase their own?
You really would have to get your own weights.
Okay.
But they sell them on Amazon, and they're, you can get them for like, I don't know, maybe, depends on which ones you get. And these are more resistant. So like if you do jumping jacks when you're, these will hold you up. They also hold you up when you're in the deep end. And then the belt, I don't have one of these, but she would want you to have the belt because it'll keep you afloat. So if, we don't want to have to get anybody out of the pool, pull them out or anything. So this would be a good,
So this is done in the deep area or the shallow?
well, you can, I don't know. I mean, we always go out in the deep water, not real deep, but we go out there and we do things like leg lifts and we do stretching. We do swimming with the weights. But they're, aerobics is one of those exercises where you really work at your ability level. You know, I had a lady, person that came to the pool, and they thought Kate was gonna be there, but she wasn't, so, you know, I just lent her some weights to just, you know, move around and stuff, you know. So that person, I told them, you really need to check with your doctor, and anybody should check with their doctor before starting any kind of exercise program. So, but, you know, just to charge you $2 a lesson is cheap for a lesson. And you can go at your own rate. And so I personally, well, we have some ladies that go to the pool. I call them the Golden Girls. We're the Golden Girls. And so there's several people, and people have come down there and they're interested in, you know, oh, I hope we get this because I really want to do this. And so I think it would be something nice to have at the pool for people to enjoy, and you know, and it also would be for the health of our community, and I'm all for that. So, you know.
Thank you.
Is Ms. Burkhart opening this up to non-members, people in the area as well?
Well, I think, you know, that's really, I guess, up to you all. But I mean, she's not gonna, you know, if somebody's staying at the motel, you know, and they want to join the class, you know, I think it's a draw, you know, another draw to the pool, and
Sure.
you know, I think it's a win type situation,
Mhm.
you know, because we don't have really anything. We have no swimming lessons, we have nothing. So, you know, to have that water aerobics would be, especially now that we're quarantined and we don't go other places that much, you know, it'd be nice to be able to go down and exercise and get out and,
Vitamin D.
yeah, and get your vitamin D, that's right.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, I can answer. That's the best of my ability.
Oh, that's it. No, personally, I think it's a service, especially with people hanging around home now. It's an activity that you can socially distance in the pool. I don't really think it'll conflict because if nothing else, we can mark off a section for her lesson. Is it our lesson?
Yes, it says it's
50
50 minutes.
Yeah,
50
I was gonna
minutes.
say,
From
she
10
said-
to 10:50, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it. There it is. Small
Well, you know, you
small
gotta
print.
get everybody in the water.
Yeah,
They all
50,
gotta get
that's-
used to the water, and
50, that's 50 minutes.
and then they get to move around, you know.
Yeah, I don't really think that, I mean, personally, don't think that's going to conflict with guests, with people coming to the pool to swim, because she can, especially if she's not in the shallow end.
Yeah, well, it used to be the pool wasn't really officially open until about 11.
Yeah,
Right.
And so from 10 to 11, that's pretty much a open.
yeah. Most people come in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it looks to me, since the pool is open, our only real concern is her fee. So as,
I don't have a problem with
yeah.
that.
I don't have a
it's
problem
not-
with
She's
it.
not
She's
starting a
carrying
business
a
on the
liability.
forward, right? She's carrying insurance
I
on it.
mean, you gotta,
She's-
you know, the liability insurance,
Right,
you know.
right.
I
She's
mean,
certified to instruct it, so.
No, I think that's amazing
I
that
mean,
she's willing to do this.
If we said no, she could come do it anyway.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, we do it, but we
Right.
just don't, she doesn't charge us.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
but
not
yeah.
official
No, but
class.
she's,
Now it-
yeah.
But I think, you know, I mean, you're talking, and you don't pay if you don't come that day. You
Right.
don't pay.
Right.
You only pay when you're there.
Okay.
So,
Okay, let's just, do we have a motion?
I move that we accept Ms. Burkhart's water aerobics proposal.
A second.
Okay, let's put it out 3 for 3. Anybody have a comment? We got a silent thumbs up from Lisa.
All right.
All right.
Okay, we're moving
Okay,
along.
all right, all in favor? Yeah. If water wasn't so cold, I'd be there.
oh, you could get your.
Oh, I'm a wuss, what can I tell you? Okay, the next is, action item is approve new architectural committee members. They've submitted 2 members' names. One is Tim Randall, and one is Lisa Vale. Is Tim here?
He's not.
I know Lisa is here. Lisa, raise your hand so everybody knows who you are. Okay, they're just asking for board approval of these 2 added members for ARC. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Well, that was quick.
Welcome to the board.
Welcome. Okay, all right, nonprofit corporate law requires us to have an annual meeting. We postponed the one at the end of March because of COVID-19. But we do have to have one. They're not excusing it. And so we are suggesting to allow us time to notice it and find a proper venue of the last Saturday in August 29th of 2020. And it would be the same type of a meeting. We would ask our auditor to come down and explain the audit, even though the audit's been out for a while, but it's always helpful to have an explanation. And we would try to look for possibly an outdoor location. We would be practicing social distancing. And it would be the same type of meeting that we have before with the audit. There's no election from last year, or, so, well, we know about how that went, February 1st. Anyway, that will announce the volunteer and employees of the year and state of the association. And hopefully, by then, we'll have a general manager. So, our suggestion was the last Saturday in August. And any comments from the board?
We're not putting out suggestions for where, how, any of that.
Just the
All we're doing is
date.
approve the date.
The date,
Okay.
just the date, because we still have to work on options for that.
Okay.
And restrictions could change from the state, so we have to be a little bit fluid on this.
Okay.
Okay, so,
My personal opinion is, I would verify with legal, because what I've looked at it, this year was an off year, so there was not an election. I would like to save the membership. Winter Texans aren't here. People are still very nervous about COVID. I would say save the money, maybe even do a raffle next year to make up for not having one.
Rihanna,
That's something I would question, because we don't have a vote, and we don't, I mean, that is, we're on uncharted territory when it comes to
Okay.
COVID-19. That's just mine, I just,
Yes,
we
but
spent a lot of money with attorneys already, I get it with those, and we've already kind of had that special meeting.
it's required by state law that we have an annual meeting. There's nothing that says,
Right, it's not an HOA meeting, it's a corporate
It's-
meeting. And
yes.
it is
We could have
required.
that on the 9-hole golf course, standing room only, and
Well, a
you
lot of
just
people have
stand
done it
there.
even virtually.
You know.
I'm just saying how we do
No.
it.
Basically, the annual stockholders meeting for the corporation.
It is.
It's
The airport.
and is required.
That was what I was gonna suggest.
Yeah, we do have that. We've got but right now it's just the date. We're gonna be looking around because it would be nice if it was an area where there was possibly shade. Because it's gonna be warm at that time, and we're gonna have it as early in the morning as is feasible, because of the heat.
But we're not discussing that right now.
No, we are just on a date, and the
Because
rest,
I do have a proposal that I would like to make.
right,
when we
no,
get to
it's
that.
just the date right
Okay,
now,
just the
because we
date.
have to have a date, and that date is Saturday, August 29th, 2020.
And we're
So-
still in this fiscal year, so
Yes,
if we're
we're
gonna
still in this fiscal year.
I would move that we have the annual membership meeting on Saturday, August 29th, 2020, with a proposed location and format to be determined.
Second.
Any comments from the audience? Thank you. All in favor? Bill? Okay. One or another. Okay, thank you. Passes unanimously. Then we will start looking for appropriate venues. Okay, all right. We have, the next one is Unit 1 repairs, and Robert became very involved in this, so we're going to turn that over to him.
I went with Ms. Martinez and did a walkthrough of Unit 1, and after we were seated to the board in February, there were numerous emails about the Unit 1 issues and promises that we would get to it, and it's drug on for 2 board cycles. This is the 3rd board cycle, and There are some concerns in both common property areas and within the easement, the county easement of the creek, that need to be addressed from a safety liability standpoint, since they are common property. Since Ms. Martinez gave me the tour, and she has some proposals for the board about fixing and repairing at no cost to the fort, I've asked her to do the presentation for us.
You're up.
Absolutely.
Do you want me to adjust that for you?
Good on my knees. Again, he said, I'm Anna Martinez, Unit 1. And I gave you packets with pictures and promises, empty promises that were made because nothing ever became of it. And I'm here to represent our membership. Let me give you a little bit of history that maybe some of you are not aware of. We organized in April of 2018 and became a neighborhood association. We met with all of our members and talked to them, wanting to know what the problems were and what they felt needed to be addressed. So we made a list, and of course we approached the board and we approached the DO. We did walks with the DO. We did walks with the maintenance manager and pointed out things, but nothing ever got done. We issued work orders. Nothing's ever been done. So our community took it upon themselves to start working on their own areas. Now, our unit is very unique because once we leave our front door or back door, we step into green area. Green area belongs to the fort. So the fort is liable or to maintain the areas in Unit 1, which hasn't done. So once we got together, we started cleaning up green areas. We started painting and cleaning around our own homes. And I think you'll see a great improvement in the unit since we organized 3 years ago, 18, 19, 20, right? 3 years ago. So one of the problems that we have is once we step out of that front door, is that it belongs to the fort, but we've never gotten any maintenance. About 3 years ago, all of our street lighting went out. We have like maybe 3 lights in the entire unit, so it's totally in the dark. We have asked to get these repaired. We put in work orders, nothing ever happens. So we contacted Rio Grande Electric, asked them to come inventory. We even walked the unit and noticed several meters that belong to the fort that we're paying for that are providing electricity somewhere. So we asked Rio Grande Electric, we contacted one of the board members, asked Rio Grande Electric to come out and do inventory, and they started to repair some of these items. But the last board president asked them to stop because there were other units in the community that needed the lighting worse than we did. So we have a new member that just moved in. He's had his house broken into 4 times. He's lost close to $1,000 in property, besides the maintenance to repair things, the damage that was done. We have a lady that was coming home from work, tripped over a tree root in the courtyard because it's totally in the dark. She got scrapes. You know, it's a safety issue. We had another lady, and I have to give you a picture of that. There's conduit running for the electricals that's above ground that should be buried, 18 inches. She tripped over that. So we have some serious liability issues. There was an email from the last board president saying that we were exaggerating our electrical issues, but we sent pictures, we took pictures. So what we're willing to do is help. We want to help. Part of our first meeting, we used a process called asset-based community development, where you take your members of the group and find out what their assets are. We found out we have several retired electricians, and we have men that are capable of helping. So we committed to redoing the ground level electricals at our cost. We've got donors wanting to pay for the wiring and everything. But we can't do anything about the street lighting. And we can't do anything before we get this inventory. So we're requesting that you appoint one person to work with somebody in our unit to inventory the lighting, find out what the problems are. Some of the lighting is non-existent at all. The wiring is so old it's broken. And if we could have that inventory, we could then proceed to helping redo the wiring in that unit. So that is just our suggestion, not a cost to you, and we're willing to work for it. Another problem that we have in our unit is the garbage. We finally got garbage pickup on Avenida Juarez, but a lot of our membership lives along the creek and down along the courtyard. Those people do not get garbage pickup. So a trailer was installed in the parking lot. Gave you pictures of that. We have problems with raccoons. TECQ says that trailer has to be emptied twice a week. So you have 2 employees hooking up the trailer, going to empty it, cleaning up the rounds, coming back, depositing it twice a week. Think about the money that you're spending there on the employees. So what our suggestion was to put out those metal cages we used to have with garbage cans, and we can't have each one of our members buy a garbage can because you won't have enough metal cages. Because you're talking about all the people along the creek and all the people in the courtyard. So we need metal cages with garbage cans so that people can empty that. Take the trailer, put it in the work yard, and our people can put the garbage in the cans. And that would save time for the maintenance people. Let's see, what was our third thing? Oh, our unit has 79 maintenance fees collected monthly. That's over $3,000 a month. 87% of our unit are seniors and singles. I know that I bought into the townhouse living because I didn't want to maintain property. I didn't want to go out there and cut grass. And a lot of these people are weekenders. They come in for the weekend and they leave. They're not here to clean grass or to take garbage cans out. So that was one of the reasons that it's a really unique property. It was supposed to be a beautiful Mexican village. Well, we got the Mexican village part right. Beautiful, I don't know. We'd like to bring it back to that. Imagine how unique it would be if it looked like a little cocoa village. You would have an attraction that would bring people in and would enjoy living there. Everybody wants to live there. So, let's see. We have one more problem, and that is our numbering plan. If you go into Unit 1, there's no sense to the numbering. So we submitted a work order in March last year to redo the numbering, to give directional signs, because EMS would stop and ask us where to go. They had no idea where to go. So I keep a map on my refrigerator to show EMS where your patient is at. We have yet to get the numbering plan. We had a committee set up, give directional signs to how to do it. And I know that a year and a half later, we could have done something about it. Think about the safety of our people there. We have a lot of other problems, potholes and walkways, cracked walls, exposed tree roots, palm fronds attracting water bugs, tree branches that touch sidewalks and roofs. Oh, we can't park in we're violating CCNRs for parking in front of our homes because that's in there. We can't park in front of our home, but we don't have enough parking lots to park in. So we have parking lots on the map, but they're not developed. So we continue to park in front of our homes. But the other people that don't have to walk from the parking lots to their homes in the dark because the alleyways are dark and they're overgrown with weeds. The garbage people aren't fixing, landscapers are not cleaning those areas either. So that's all I think. The only thing I have to say is when I have company over, I clean up my house, and my house is not clean right now, you know. So before we get more membership, we need to start doing something about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I've made a couple of trips over into Unit 1 at night, and it is very dark. I mean, when I pull into my property in Unit 15, I can turn on my outdoor porch light so I can see to get to my front door. With their parking, there's a wall where there should be light fixtures mounted on the wall. Well, the broken conduit and wiring is there, the broken fixtures are there, but the light isn't there to allow them to safely get from their parking space to their unit, their townhome. It's something that we need to address, because I would not want to be responsible for forcing people to fall, break their hip in the situation that we have some control over, especially when they're willing to do the electrical and pay for the wiring and the fixtures.
How many street poles, the actual ones like, in 15 that are supposed to be from Rio Grande? How many actually, not on?
Right, not on the walls and
Yes.
things. The silver poles, correct me if I'm misstating what you told me, the silver poles that start in front of the empty saddle going into Unit 1, there's 3 of those, one here, one just before the entrance to Unit 1, and then one in front of the gentleman's house.
Those are all Rio Grandes?
We're not, the ones on the roadway and in front of Dave Crow's house, there's 3 of them. Those are 3 that have been burned out. When we called maintenance and put in a report, they kept telling us they weren't sure if they were Rio Grande or AP.
Because I know like even like in 15 or 21, if it's, well, 21 it would be AEP, but Unit 1 is Rio Grande.
But they weren't sure, so nobody ever came out to check to see if it was Rio Grande. But at that point, that if we got an inventory, we would find out whether AEP or Rio Grande.
I thought
What did
that
Rio
the-
Grande say?
Yeah, what did
I
Rio
thought
Grande?
that the fort had done an inventory on every meter that's in this place. And
So how do you?
I don't know, but
Oh.
to me, I would say that the entrance into Unit 1
Is Rio Grande?
belongs to AEP. I think Unit 1 territory, the unit itself is Rio Grande. But the entrance into it, I don't think so, because I think that belongs to AEP.
Well, one of the lights that's burned out in front of Dave Crow's house, part of that one that comes into the entrance. And when the entrance light burned out, that one burned out.
Now, I understand what you're saying, but the
So how
point
is
is,
that AEP?
I don't know, because as far as I know, with my working with Rio Grande Electric over the years, the only poles that we used for area lights were the wooden poles.
That's
It
the
was-
way it is in my unit.
Yeah, those belong to Rio Grande Electric on a wooden
don't have any
pole.
wooden
They're metal, no, we have
There are some.
3, but they belong to Rio Grande, and they came out and changed them to LED. We have 3.
So they are working, the ones that Rio Grande actually owns, they have come in and,
Well, some of them, because the ones in the back didn't get repaired because they were called off.
but they are Rio Grandes?
That they were asked to stop
So,
working on.
yeah, that's
Rio Grande. I mean,
That's
they need
easy,
to-
yeah, I mean, we can call Rio Grande.
Yeah, do the
I think
homeowners
you-
ever call Rio Grande direct? I know when
We called Rio Grande, but when they came out, then that's when Maria asked them, well, we were told that Maria asked them to stop because there were other units that needed the help more than we did.
Well, I mean.
okay, well, that's water under the bridge.
First of all, I think if you have an area light out,
Yeah.
you call the company who owns it, and they will come and fix it.
We
Right.
have made several calls.
Because you're paying for that light, if it's working or not working.
I think we're paying
Yeah, I
for
think,
that.
well, I think
Yes,
as
We
a
exactly.
need to
board,
make that call.
as a
Yes.
board, I think we need to contact Rio Grande. If they have 6 poles and they're not working, they can't just only let 3 of their poles work. So,
They're paying for a light that's not working, no
Exactly.
matter what.
Right.
well, no,
So,
no,
yeah.
and this is just from Rio Grande. This isn't the sidewalk paths or anything. This is
Right.
what's
So,
responsible for Rio
My
Grande.
thoughts on this whole thing are, whatever power company owns whatever area lighting, we can have those repaired at the power company's
Right.
cost.
We
We're
need-
paying for
We need
those,
to write a
so,
letter on that,
Right.
one, Julie.
or make a phone call.
Now,
So as
the-
far as the rest, I have no problem with the unit membership wanting to fix whatever lighting.
The problem with the ground lighting is a couple of our members bought $400 worth of lights to put in the front entrance. When we had them put in, they wouldn't work. So the electrician trekked back to the meter box. They had been cut off. So something has been done that has cut off the electricals to some of these places that could be repaired.
Okay.
Well,
So
if
that's
it's,
why we need to have somebody do an inventory on, with one of our unit members, so they'll know, okay, this one runs to here and this lighting runs to here.
if there's a meter set up to run the lights, whatever ones they are,
Right.
the repair work after the meter belongs to us.
Right.
But not the bulb. The bulb, they need to make sure and come out and replace their bulbs, correct?
No, I'm talking about if it's a light that we're paying for,
Yeah, if there's a problem in the circuit.
Right.
then
we own
they are to fix it. If it's a light that comes after a meter, it's just like your house.
Yeah.
If you're after the meter, if you have a problem with your electricity, it's your problem.
Right, I would also like to, I don't mean to sound nitpicky, but normally condo associations are much like homeowners associations, especially in the state of Texas, except you don't own common property except
Right.
whatever is the hallways and the common
Right.
gathering areas. Here, you all own your homes.
Mhm.
We as the fort, as the association, don't own the physical
Right.
buildings.
Right.
So I would need, we need to determine the ownership on the walls
Well, these
attached
are-
to the buildings.
they're not attached to building, they're self-standing walls.
Okay,
These are along the parking lot that divides the building. There's green space, then the wall, then the parking lot. And those lights were, it looks like originally put in so that when people parked, they could walk to their unit.
Right.
Your unit, your ownership is the exterior wall of your home in, correct?
Now, the one exception is in the courtyard. We have a beautiful courtyard if it was fixed up. The fort provided the lighting on the exterior of the homes for the courtyard. Half of it is burned out and half of it is not. So that would be an exception to the rule about it's on my house.
right.
It was actually put in there by the fort. So I'm sure you're paying for that meter, but they're not.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt. And that's fine. I have no problem with y'all volunteering to fix this. You know, we can get an inventory of what meters are ours and y'all's, and I think we can work this out. The trash thing, I don't think I understand fully. Why do y'all not have trash pickup?
Because people don't have access to the front street. They don't want to pay the maintenance people to go and pick up the garbage cans in front of each one of the units. So they put in the trash trailer because that way the maintenance people could just drive down Ebony the Waters, pick up the cans that were there, and the rest of the people either have to take it to the trash trailer or drag a can out to the street. So the people that live in the courtyard and all along the creek don't get serviced.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. You pay the same fees as everyone else on
And
the
that's been the
fort.
complaint. That's been the complaint.
But the truck is too large, the trash truck is too large to get there. So what Philip told me that we could do is take these metal racks like at the condos over here, put the metal trash can racks there. They have lids on them that you can keep the raccoons out because that's a problem with the trash truck. But if you also get the $33 Rubbermaid trash cans with the snap-on lid and put that under, then you're trying two different ways to keep the raccoons out. Philip then has the people go by, the maintenance people go by in a truck and lift it out, throw the bag into the back of a pickup, and then they dispose of it that way. But those people live on the backside and in the courtyard, you can't get the trash truck in there.
Right, okay, I find this entire situation a bit odd. I know in my unit, by the paperwork that I signed, I'm responsible for keeping my trash in a can that animals can't get into and putting it out for the garbage guy.
Right.
Does y'all's paperwork say that same thing? So theoretically, those people that don't want to walk their garbage out to the street where it can be picked up are effectively required to by the documents they signed. They just don't do it.
Or they can't
They
because
can't
of
do
their
it. You're
age.
talking about elderly people here.
Well, no, what he's saying is just rolling it out, but what the concern is the trash truck is too large to go down there. But we do have, and this is where I think we really need to talk to and maintenance on this part, because I think there could be maybe a compromise, because it is permanently elderly, and if you don't have a golf cart, or they have to take it all the way over there. So if there's a way where the people, I mean, they're not, like, if we don't put it in a bag, they don't pick it up from us. I mean,
Right.
so I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's why it's kind of easier when you can put it in front of your house, is that unit 1 is very quirky, you know. I mean, there's even some people that don't even have outside access, or just inside there. So I really suggest that we get a game plan that maybe from maintenance and figure out if there's a better compromise. I think that the trash trailer is kind of
Okay,
difficult.
well,
Well, the
I
trash
don't-
trailer kind of, it's almost all the way closed in. So if you put a expanded metal over the top where the coons can't get in, as long as people are closing the doors,
No,
They
it
figured
is, but
out
it's
how.
far. It's where the carports
well, they
are.
still can't get to it.
But
But the
right,
trash
because
gets there.
The older people who have a hard time putting their trash can out around the building, have to walk now even further to get to the trash truck.
So how is their trash getting out right now?
They're getting in their cars and delivering
They're
it.
putting it like.
But,
Really?
yeah, but see,
It's kinda like the
that
RV,
trash
it's kinda like the
trailer,
RV
the
situation.
pictures of the trash trailer, we have stopped people coming into the unit. And
Yeah.
they've been told by maintenance and they've been told by the admin building that that is the dump for the fort. So we get a lot of garbage from all over
And a
the
lot of
fort.
white goods.
So why do we not move that trailer out and put it where the maintenance yard is at and let everybody access it if you want to?
Yeah, well, we have some problems with members, I guess. We have stuff to do. What is it you're asking us to take action on today?
For today, what I would ask is that we allow the Unit 1 residents to obtain a copy of the license of the electrician who's going to be performing the work, that we allow them to use their supplies to rebuild the circuits and lighting fixtures on the common property walls that they have volunteered to do. And that was what we wanted
Right,
right
and
now.
after we get an inventory so we know where they're
Right,
going.
you need the inventory. That's the main thing, is they need somebody that's a liaison from the Fort that is working with them. Well, but once again, I'm not.
You're not
typi-
here.
Yeah, I'm not typically here when Rio Grande Electric is open. I come down primarily weekends. But we need somebody that'll work with Rio Grande Electric to get their above-ground lighting working and give them the approval to do those common walls.
Well, I was told by Philip at one time that if there's a light out, we're talking about Rio Grande right now only, I don't know what AEP does anymore. But if there was a light out, say on Scales Road, Philip was to report it to them,
Right.
and then they would come and fix it.
Right.
So Philip was basically the liaison.
Okay, so, and also.
And I
correct
think
me
it
if I'm
should
wrong,
be,
but
or security,
as far
because
as
they're out at night, you know?
Rio Grande, one of us can make ourselves available and bring Rio Grande in and say, I need you to put a tag on every one of these meters that Fort Clark Springs Association is paying for.
I suggest,
Then they'll know.
Bill, I
which
suggest for
lights
you,
go
you're
where.
retired from Rio Grande
Yes,
Electric.
right. But I
You have-
think, if I may, excuse me, but if I may, Sherry, a year ago, sometime like that, did a complete inventory on every meter on the fort.
Well, then we just need
So
to get
she
a copy
has
of
that.
Okay. Can you, because of your knowledge and your
I
connections
can
with
go,
Rio Grande?
I can go, I'll try and get the list
Okay.
from Sherry and then see what,
Then you can be the board liaison. The one other thing we do need, though, from the electricians, we need them to sign a waiver,
Or Tom
liability
Stowe.
waiver, because our workers' compensation will not cover anything that happens to them.
I've
And-
received a copy of that
Okay.
already.
And our-
also each member too, know who's
And our
the people.
liability insurance will not cover any damage that the electrician could do, say he started a fire or injured another member. Our coverage does not cover members in any way, shape, or form. And obviously, we couldn't afford coverage if that was the case. So since these are
Volunteers.
yeah, these are volunteer owners, not employees or board members. We would need that from you, just to protect the Fort Clark Springs Association and all of its members.
Right.
And we do have copies of, we have waivers up at the office that you can
Yes,
take.
so, yes, I mean, we can make these things happen. Also, I will try to get maintenance to trim some of the trees over the sidewalks.
I
so you
think
can't
the
walk.
community council has picked our unit as the
Oh, one
one
of
to
the
work
hot
on in
spots.
August.
But
Yeah.
Beautiful.
one of the problems with the major tree hanging is it's live oak. And my nursery guy has told me in Bear County, you don't trim live oaks until the sap goes down, which is usually
spray 'em.
December 1st.
Mhm.
But even spraying them, it still stunts
Oh,
the
that-
tree. Yeah, so he's,
Okay, so again, we get back to, what do you want from us to act on today?
Okay. So we would like approval for them to begin work once the proper paperwork has been done. And we would like, that's issue one, so I don't know if you want to vote on these separately.
Well, okay. How about if we do the electrical first, since that seems to be a liability hazard?
Right.
And once that is completed, I guess what we can do is make arrangements with Philip as far as that, because he's gonna have to handle the garbage disposal. So whatever we decide here affects him.
Philip told me if Unit 1 will say these are where we want them, he will put the trash carriers, but
Right.
maintenance does not
Yeah,
have the funds.
garbage disposal doesn't seem like something that the board should even be, like, that should be something that we can just go to maintenance and go, hey, make sure.
Well, it's the cans that go inside there.
Yeah, we would have to, are you asking whether we need, before we can approve the purchase of cans, we need to know how much they're going to cost and what kind of cans you're buying, which is available today.
Okay.
So,
That is not available today. But since a lot of the people there are weekenders, and I would say that they probably should be, I think they should be 4-ounce cans that go in each of the sleeves.
Why aren't you gonna pay for mine?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
What are all the rest of
If
the
we
units
make
gonna
the
do?
cage, if we make the metal cage
You
for
put
that.
yeah, the cage is there, the cans are yours, not mine.
Wait,
It's not the
but
forced
you're
cans.
talking about all these people that are in the courtyard and everybody along the creek. How many metal cages are you gonna bring out to have one can per person? You're gonna go into a bigger expense on these metal cages
I think
than
it's-
getting
I think
community
there's
cans
more
and
than
having them
one.
share.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
they're
nowhere
cages.
else on the entire fort property where the fort is responsible for providing
But there's
trash
nowhere
cans
else
to
on
the
the fort
membership.
either that they don't get.
okay, the only
Different
suggestion
floor.
would be is, and we don't do this, is we all pay the same assessments.
Right.
But if it's gonna cost more to support Unit 1, then Unit 1 may have a surcharge attached to it. Because nobody gives me my cans, I have to buy my
Well,
cans. So-
here's a counter argument though. A roll of wire is $300 for 12-gauge wire to rerun circuits. They're going to need multiple rolls of wire that they're paying for at their
Got 3
expense.
donated already.
Okay, so you've got some donated, but it's along the way, somebody paid for them for you.
And we're paying for the lights also.
And you're paying for the light fixtures. And they're paying for the conduit replacement. So I understand your point that nobody else is getting free trash cans, but nobody else has a common property courtyard that somebody uses and then comes by and throws trash in. So I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I'm just bringing up what we can expect to hear from other members.
Right. We can't-
About how can they, and we have to have a response for all of the other units that have to take care of their own trash, which is why I think we should take care of the electrical today, because if you do want us to pay for commercial grade trash cans for that, then we need the costs and so forth to go forward. So the electrical we can handle. What was any other items? The trash thing we're gonna have to put off until we talk to Philip, see what he can do, and until someone gives us a proposal for costs and why the association should pay it and not the members.
Okay.
Because we need an explanation for everybody else out here and everybody who's watching
Right.
as to why Unit 1.
Yes.
And a lot of units-
Particularly, I understand that many of them are elderly and
Yes.
maybe handicapped to a certain degree, but they also, when they bought the property, signed the same documents everybody else here signed that says, you will put your trash out in a animal-proof can where the animals can't get to it on trash day.
And maybe this is an idea where we start our volunteers to help some of our senior citizens. I mean, we all need mates, and it's someone to maybe help some of these people. I can't believe that neighbors who are not elderly have not chipped in. But I agree with that. We've got to be able to explain why Unit 1 is different from all the other units, but yet they're paying the same assessments. And a lot of units spend their own money on improvements for their units, not just Unit 1.
Well, wouldn't it their option be to have somebody go pick up the garbage can in front of these people's homes?
That's where we have to get with Philip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
gonna have to
get
they're
with
paying
me.
for
So
the
let's,
service.
we need to move along, and we
Okay.
need to know exactly what you want. So is there anything more than allowing them to proceed with the
We've
electric?
appointed Bill
repairs?
to help out with this project.
Yes.
For the Rio Grande
Rio Grande.
Electric.
And, well, I mean, since you're not here, I mean,
Right.
so that way,
Is there anything
You're
else on
Lidle.
this list that you wanted us to act on today?
Just primarily the electrical and the garbage, we could put off the garbage. The directional signs, that's later.
That's Philip, yeah.
Yeah, that's Philip too.
Okay, and there are units without directional signs, that's,
And it's not to say that just because we don't do action on all these today, that
No, I
it's
know.
falling off the
No, no.
radar. Just keep us in the email loop
Oh,
so that we
we're
can
real
keep up with
tenacious.
you.
We
And
just
yeah,
keep going and going.
yeah, and it's fine. And there are some issues over there that promises have been made and not kept, and we
Yes,
all
that's
understand
absolutely
that. But
true.
we do have many units, and some of them do need some work, and,
The difference is that we organized and we approached the board the way we should have. And
Yes,
every other unit out there that has a problem needs to do the same thing. How are you to know what needs to be
That's
done
exactly
if
right.
we don't step up and tell you?
You're
We've been
correct.
trying to tell you for 3 years now.
Yes, you're
So
absolutely right.
I encourage other units to do the same thing.
I do too.
no, and we're not picking on Unit 1, but I hope you understand that.
We've been through a lot.
Other members, so, okay, all right.
So I will move that we obtain the meter breakout inventory so that y'all will know which circuits go to which lights, and allow approval for y'all to begin work on there once we have the hold harmless agreements and the license copies for your electricians.
Okay.
I will second that.
Okay,
And before we vote, we have a member comment.
And stuff needs to be done to electrical code, which would be Texas, and not, because the county doesn't have anything.
Right.
That's why we have a volunteer licensed electrician who has also informed us that our meters are not code compliant. And that's opening a whole.
Just
new
because the
can of
guy's
worms.
a licensed electrician doesn't mean that there isn't a shortcut, so it should be done to code. And I want to say one more thing. I have questioned, just like she's saying, several boards, how come we don't have a private contractor picking up trash in here? It doesn't seem to me that it makes, and I know you don't want to discuss this, but to me, it doesn't make sense to have 4, 5, 6 people spending 2 days picking up trash. You got a trash truck you got to maintain, and the dump, which I heard costs $50,000 every 4 or 5 years to rebuild, seems like an awful lot of money. And maybe it's not possible because we're Brackettville. So anyway, just another thought.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
yes, sir, thanks.
Anybody else? We got 2 more.
Well, I just, know that this, I think the trash thing can be resolved.
Yes.
Yes, we do
Yeah.
too.
And,
Absolutely.
and if it means, they have to come, they can drive their regular pickup truck down there with the trailer.
I agree. I mean, you're paying for a service that you're not currently getting, so yeah.
They're used to, I
that can
mean,
be done.
it did used to work. I mean, maybe we can go back and see how it used to work and just tweak it. You know, I mean, it hasn't always been like this, and
Right.
I'm not saying that we have to go to every single door, but surely there could be a compromise, but just not doing nothing is.
A location where the people in the courtyard could put all their cans.
Right.
Well, I think there are, when I driven by there are some old gates that have,
No,
where
there
you
aren't
put 3.
anymore. They were all taken away.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what needs to kind of come back,
Well,
but
that's
instead
what
of going
we're
to,
talking
what is there, 75 houses out there? There's no way, like, we don't even get mail sent to our house, that the maintenance can go to, in that way, because there have to be on bikes or trailers. I mean, it's unique. Yes.
Right.
Okay,
I just want to say that, as far as the addresses and stuff in EMS, you all should have your 911
Yes, you all have
address.
911 addresses.
I want to say something about that quick. I've been bringing that up for the last 3 years too, and I do have an answer for that we will address when we talk,
Okay.
schedule that meeting.
So you're
Well,
gonna do
and I
something,
do know that, I'm sorry, but at the front office, there is a Unit 1 map. It's not up to scale to everything, and with that, I'm sure we can kind of blow it up, and it used to be, Chatha used to, whenever I did transfers, we would write who was living there, and that could actually be left at the security gate, so when EMS comes in here, they can have that map.
That's the map I have on my.
On there,
my
so
refrigerator.
security should probably, but that's something that we need to define, that's with everybody.
we have a motion on the table. Would you repeat your motion, please?
Yes. What did I say? I move that we obtain and provide the breakout of the unit meter inventory, provide it to the residents of Unit 1, and allow them to begin electrical repairs once we have obtained the hold harmless agreements and copies of electrician's licenses.
Okay, did we have a second to that?
second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. We
Thank
are-
you.
We are even if we have to move forward at one thing at a time.
Bite the elephant.
We'll do
one
it.
thing, one bite at a time.
Okay. Bill, can you help with that? Okay. All right, onward. Birding on the border. This is we had a request. They actually visited, Birding in the Border visited us and provided us with some beautiful photographs and a list